Welcome back to the Information Security Stack. Me, Daniel Gustafsson, together with Kim Hindart.
Hubba.
Today, Kim, we have a special topic to discuss. We are going to talk about a mental beer gut, and we're going to explain what that is. Now, you might know what a beer gut is in your physical world, meaning you have been too lazy for too long, and all of a sudden the good life starts to take over, and your physical appearance may not be what it was before. And the same can happen with your mind, and we call that as I don't mean to offend anyone, and if you are offended, that's your problem. We call it a mental beer gut, meaning you can end up being lazy to change, human change and behavioral change. So if you take a couple of minutes, Kim, and explain what your take on a mental beer gut is.
Yeah, I've actually noticed it more and more that when you're exposed to a sudden change, people get terrified. And my take is that you're not just that you're opposed to change itself. It's more the fact that you're mentally so out of shape that you're terrified for actually the effort you need to put in. And that's true in the physical world. The more out of shape you are, the bigger the effort is to do something. So if all of a sudden you say, congratulations, you're all middle-aged men, but you're supposed to line up in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to meet the other totally pro teams, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So get in shape. You have 1 week to do it. Yeah, you would be slaughtered. No question about it. You would be totally massacred. And of course, that's nothing you would look forward to. So I would be a bit scared about that prospect as well. So, I mean, that's why I've seen we have this problem that we stagnate and don't practice and exercise mentally. And this is the thing. Of course, it's a lot more comfortable eating my bag of chips in front of the TV than going out running.
Mm-hmm.
That's a natural. And I see 1,000 people all the world complaining, no, I have to run, otherwise I don't feel good. I will run every day. And yes, that's totally true. You have these people as well. But what's the difference between them from taking the bag of potato chips in front of the TV to you need to go out running? Why are there such people then?
Well, because the people that are choosing to stay on their couch watching TV and eating a bag of chips have defined that as their normal behavior. And the people who has the urge to go out running because otherwise they just won't feel well has also defined that as their specific way of behavior. They have defined a proper behavior. I usually use a quote from one of my favorite coaches within sports. His name is PJ Fleck. He's the head coach of the University of Minnesota American football team. He says, and his quote is, when something that you have to do becomes something that you want to do, then you have transformed your behavior into a new behavior, meaning what was hard in the beginning could be practice, could be studies, could be work, could be your family life, or no matter what the situation is, whatever you feel is uncomfortable and hard to do, and you have to force yourself to do it in the beginning. When that same thing becomes something you want to do in your life, you look forward to it. Like, for instance, go out and run. Or exercise, or go to the gym, or whatever it might be that makes you feel better, or get you into physical shape. When you look forward to the practice, when you look forward to the training, when you look forward to actually push your body to go out and exercise and run, then your behavior have changed to that specific mode. You have changed from liking to be on the couch eating a bag of crisps to liking going outside and run. And we all been there. I mean, we all have had our New Year's Eve solutions where we promise ourselves that we're going to go to the gym every day for the rest of my life, because now it's time to change my life. And 2 weeks in, we are doing a proper job. We're going there. We're buying all the expensive clothes, all the expensive gym passes, and so on. And we head to the gym, and we're great at it for 2 weeks. And then the interest dies off. And that's where your character starts to get challenged. Are you really, really invested into making the change or not? Are you really invested into actually pushing yourself to learn something new or not? And this is exactly the same with behavioral changes or new challenges within your workforce or your workplace as well. So let's say I'm a code developer, and I've been a Java developer for my entire life, and then your boss comes and tells you now you should start to write all your code in Python, and you have to learn Python, for instance. Now, if you are really invested into it and you really want to, that transition will be quite smooth, and you will get there eventually, and quite fast, honestly. And then coding in Python won't be a problem. But if you resist it and you don't like it, and you really force yourself to do it, meaning you force yourself to do it rather than liking to do it, then your behavior is still, I'm a Java developer and that's what I want to be, and I don't want to change. And that's the same equals mindset of going to the gym, having to go to the gym to exercise rather than to stay home and watch a good film with a bag of crisps in your hand. So the whole behavioral situation is all about you wanting to change. So whenever something you have to do becomes something you want to do, that transformation is complete.
So, is this something you can do? What can we do as leaders to promote this? Is this something we can do, or is it just up to the individual?
Good question, and I think depends on who you. It depends on who you ask, and what mindset the leader has as well. Now, to begin with, if you're going to learn something new, you need to get that. You need to be able to be given the time to change. Meaning, you have to be able to test and practice and learn a new skill. So, from a leadership perspective, you have to allow your staff to actually take the time to learn something new. Now, I understand this is a tough thing to do, especially with tight deadlines, with production lines that needs to be met, products and customers that needs to be satisfied, and we are extremely operative at all times. We need to stay in operative mode at all time to please our customers, get the benefits from earning the money, and making sure that we make a profit each month and each quarter. I understand that situation, but if you don't, as a leader, give the people the time to test new things, practice new things, proper test beds from a technical perspective, training courses, whatever it might be. If you don't allow them to take that time, the change won't happen.
So,
But and
if we
also,
compare,
yeah. So sorry, and then to move along with that also, and I know you're a big fan of this, and so am I. And that's given is trying to give the people in your teams the time to actually get to know each other, because there are true benefits to that as well, isn't it, Kim?
yes. So, the same as you when you do physical exercise, just to be clear, we have grown very comfortable in our work, but a physical training that actually improves you, that it's not just a normal exercise that you do to keep in shape. It's something that makes you better. It's actually something you do to get you stronger or give you more endurance or something. I've not been part of any type of these type of exercise that has been comfortable with the exercise itself. No, it's require an effort.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible to become better without breaking a sweat?
No. The simple answer is no, even though we're trying to mitigate and limit the amount of practice that we do. But in order to get good at something, you need to work hard at it. In order to get good at something, you need to practice. To go back to the sports metaphor that you had earlier, even teams that are winning on a consistent basis need to continue to practice. Because if they stop practice and just sit on the laurel and look back on how great they are, then some other team will catch them, pass them, and all of a sudden you're not the greatest team in the world anymore. So you cannot stop practicing, and practicing is hard. It takes an effort. You will have to break a sweat every now and then. You will have to put in the time to become better, and that is so. No, you cannot get better if you don't put in the time. Simply.
yeah, that sounds really depressing. I thought we could just live on talent alone and never need to break a sweat.
Well, you can for a while, absolutely, but then you run out of talent, and then what are you going to do about it? So you need to actually start to gain new skills, mentally challenge yourself, and this is where we come back to our quote or and our statement of a mental beer gut, meaning if you only look at what you have already done, and let's say you're really really good at what you do, you could be really great at what you do. Eventually, someone will catch you and pass you. Now, there are many of stores in the world of in the world of business where this has been true. No longer than, was it 2006 2007 when the iPhone was first presented to the market, right? The smartphone came along. Before that, we had companies called Ericsson and Nokia, and Motorola in the US. They just dominated the world of mobile phones, and all of a sudden Apple came along with their iPhone, and then Google came with Android, and all of a sudden you had all the Android phones, and no one is using Nokia and Ericsson phones anymore because they don't exist. If you look back and say if my statement is we're going to continue to do as we always have done because that has been the winning formula to date, you are going to lose. Simple as that. That is my absolute worst quote and the worst mindset you can have. I absolutely hate it, is when people say we're going to continue to do as we always have done because that's the winning way. We've always been winning this way. Okay, so you might have been really successful. I'm not saying that's not true. I'm just saying you're not going to continue to be successful if that's your mindset. If you don't challenge your way of working, your way of presenting your products, your way you train your staff and so on, then you're gonna run stale, and someone else is going to pass you. So your mental beer gut is gonna hinder you from further expanding your business and becoming better as a team and as a company or whatever it might be. So no, we need to get away from that mindset quick.
So, yeah, so what we're trying to say is you need to train mentally as well. And with mental training, that's mostly learning new stuff. But like you said, it's not just learning new knowledge. That's one thing, of course, that's good in itself. But we tend to focus too much on that.
Yes.
Building new relations is an excellent mental exercise.
Yes, it is.
But heck, Daniel, building new relations that can't possibly have anything good to do with a company.
I know,
especially an IT business.
Yeah, no, it's just a messy thing, right? To learn to know each other and getting new friends, and you have to open up yourself and share your own feelings and emotions and so on. Yeah, it's a messy business, but if you do, and the teams that are doing this and the companies that are doing this properly, now statistic shows are the ones that normally is the ones most successful teams and the companies as well, because one of the most untapped resources of knowledge and skills that exist in your workplace is your colleagues. Now, to your point, if we only talk about what we do on a daily basis in our actual work, we are only going to focus on what we actually physically do. And yeah, I can surely gain some great benefits from you in your development skills, for instance, because you are a really good developer. But the person sitting next to you and the people sitting in your teams have other skills in life as well. And those skills can only be reached, and you can only get an understanding for them if they are willing to tell you about them. And here's where the whole getting your relationships in order and getting to know people comes into play. If you want to get to know someone, you better stop talking and start listening. That's the first thing. You have to start to listen to the people around you and not be the one talking the loudest at all time. And I know we're sitting here talking really loudly right now, so it might be counterintuitive. But the fact is, if I want to learn something from you, I need to shut up and listen. And if I do that, then you might have skills that I can draw benefits from in life that has nothing to do with your workplace or the things that you actually do on a daily basis in your actual work. And that is called personal development and personal growth. And here is an untapped resource where you, as a leader, if you're listening to this and you are a manager, team leader, CEO, or in any type of position where you have people that you are responsible for, then it is your job to make sure that you tap into these resources by listening to your staff, getting the relations in place, getting your team to get to know each other. Make sure that the skills that are outside of what we actually physically do every day is being presented to you as a manager and to the rest of the team, because now we can do some proper growth, and now we can do some proper uh, not only growth, but we can also become better as a team. And most importantly, we can start to challenge ourselves mentally by accepting the fact that you know something that I don't, and I can draw benefit from that by learning. And I might know something that you don't, and you can draw the exact same benefit. This is extremely mentally challenging. And if you have that mental beer gut in the way, this won't happen.
But if you're saying, like, we want to have a good, high-performing team, surely that's possible without making an effort.
Well, that would be lovely, wouldn't it? And we do have people that claim that they work in or are responsible for a high performing team that do actually nothing to work on their relationships. And all I have to say about that is that you're probably mistaking yourself with another team that is actually very successful. Because if you have your relationships in order, and if you don't work at it, it's not going to happen. Now, if you're really, really good, once again, coming back to the statement, when something that you have to do becomes something that you want to do, that goes the same thing with your establishing your relationships. If that is something you work on every day, every week for months, then you're going to get there. And all of a sudden, this becomes like a no-brainer. Everybody does it. It's not a thing we have to remind ourselves about. It's just going to be there. But just saying that we are a high-performing team, just saying that we care about each other, just saying that we listen to each other, and just saying that we actually draw experiences from each other is not true unless you actually physically sit down and do it. So this could take, for really teams that work really hard at it, just like normal training, going to the gym, you're going to see results within a month. If you are doing it every now and then, or every third week, or even worse, once a quarter, your development cycle is going to be a lot longer. It's going to take a lot longer time. You probably won't reach that specific state of a high performance team. So just like going to the gym, getting your body in shape, working with your mind, getting to know each other is a work. You need to go through it, but all of a sudden you will reach the state of what I have to do becomes something that I want to do, because I can see the benefits and I know it gives me something positive back. So no. The short answer is no. The long answer is the one I just gave you. You have to work on it.
So what can you do as an employer do then?
Well,
what should you do?
As an employer, once again, you have to establish a culture where this is an acceptable state to be in, and that's not always the case, to be true. You have to be people oriented, and that's very easy to say. And a lot of people say that we are extremely people oriented, and that's one of the main slogans in any sales pitch for any company, that we work for our staff and we work for our people. And there are tons of companies that do. But what that really entails is that you give people time to develop. You have to be able to establish a development ladder, so to speak, within your company as well. Make sure that you don't have people sitting in the same chair for 10 years doing the same job. Make sure that you actually challenge your staff to take that next step, to learn new things, to take new roles, and that system needs to be in place. And that comes from not being 100% focused on results at all time, because if the only thing you want is a result, you're going to get one, but you're going to get a poor result because you're not focusing on the people who creates the result for you. So that's one thing. Second thing is, once again, make sure that you actually have a workplace where you allow people to work or to talk about and expose their feelings, and make sure that that is a state where we do not get criticized and do not get ridiculed if we do. Way too many workplaces have the attitude that work is work, personal is personal, they have nothing to do with each other. But no, start challenge yourself, and both from a company perspective and from a leadership perspective, that you want to encourage people to actually start to work together and actually talk with each other, to learn from each other. Do not have systems in place where you promote or actually you have financial benefits. Let's say I closed 20 tickets, so you closed 2 tickets this week, so I get more money. I get a financial kickback because what from for closing more tickets. What that creates is competition within a team, and that could be helpful at times. But if you want a team that works together and wants to produce something positive together, that's just that's the worst thing you could do, essentially, because all you do is tell your team to do not talk to each other, do not open up, because if you share, you're gonna financially lose out from it. So don't make, and you've said this before in other podcasts as well, that don't make your emotions a transaction. It should not be a financial transaction. It has to be a mutual thing. It has actually have to be something that we want to do for the greater good of the team rather for myself.
You seriously mean that I, as a manager, have to make an effort to get to know my staff?
Yes, I actually seriously mean you have to be a manager and you have to be a leader. That's exactly right, because that's 100% what leadership entails. So if you call yourself a leader and a manager, then yes.
Aha. But that's sad to hear, because then it might require that management has to make an effort as well.
They do, and it starts with them, would you know? So this whole thing, so the whole thing we're talking about, the mental beer gut, it starts with the management going down. Yes.
But seriously, I thought as a manager, I can just stand on the sideline and shout, "Run faster" to the players, and then it's up to the players to perform.
Well, you could for a while, and then they're gonna stop listening to you, and then they won't run at all. And then your voice is just a voice on the sideline screaming, "Run faster!" And if you have no compassion, if you actually don't have anything invested into your staff, if you don't know them as people, then all they're hearing is a voice screaming, "Run faster." They don't take it to heart, and you will lose that team within a year. So yeah, it's absolutely a way to do it, but I would highly recommend against it. It's not going to work in the long run.
I see. So what we're actually saying is, be a leader, be inspiring, and then keep your staff mentally in shape as well.
Yes. Now, also, I just want to finish off on this, and I have this as a finding where I've been thinking about this for a long time, that what could also be of hindrance in terms of developing your team or getting people to actually to move and to try and test new things and so on, is that we all have different goals in life of where we define ourselves as successful. Now, I might have one dream or one view of myself, what success means to me, and you can have one completely different. And then we have 3 other team members who have 3 other completely different views of how they determine success. Because the biggest enemy against any type of change and the biggest enemy of any type of mental effort is success. If I've had success over a long period of time, and I once again go back to the statement, this is the way we've been doing it for 10 years because we've been successful for the last 10 years. We're not going to change anything. Okay, if that's the mindset you have, the risk you then run is to end up with a state where you feel very satisfied and you feel very at ease with your life, and you don't want to change because you essentially have reached your goal. You're done. The emptiest feeling in the world is when you reach a goal, because either you're only going to have to do it again, or you're going to have to reinvent a new goal, or you're going to have to tell yourself, well, that was it. I'm done. I have nothing to reach for. I have nothing to work for. I have nothing to strive for. And when that happens, your mental beer gut will start to develop and at a rapid pace. So the way I see it is that if we want to get this movement going, and if you actually are willing to invest into this, the worst thing you can say is, I've been successful this way, I won't change. Now, going back to what is success for you, that you who are listening to this, you have to sit down and start to define for yourself, where is my goal at? Where will I define myself as a success? For most people, success means I have a wife or a husband, I have my kids, I have my house, I have a dog, I have a boat, or whatever I have, a summer house. And that was my goal. And the work that I do, the job that I have, provides me all of those things. So I don't want to change anything. I don't want to become a senior manager, or I don't want to become a senior developer. I'm fine where I am. But here it comes back to you as a leader. You need to get that understanding of what team do you have, and the individuals in your team. What individual goals do they have, and how do they define success for their own life? Because if that doesn't match or add up to your view of success, then you're going to have to get that understanding. Okay, so you see the world this way. Okay, that's different from the way I see the world. So either I can help you to take that next step, or maybe, just maybe, that individual just won't move because they're done. They're fine. So it's that too as well. So you can take that into consideration when we talk about this, or if you think about this. But that's my view on this anyway, that the biggest objective to a mental change is success.
Now we've talked a lot about keeping in mentally in shape in order to handle change. What in God's name has this to do with information security?
Well, Mr. CSO, why won't you tell us?
Yeah, but the biggest threat, by far biggest threat, is human error. Let's be clear on that.
Yes.
Human error stands for the biggest catastrophic failures of all.
Yes.
Even when it comes to technical stuff like a known zero-day vulnerability. It's the ability to be able to patch it quickly that usually breaks you. Not that it's a zero-day vulnerability by itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's back to human errors. You forget to patch a critical system. You forget something. This is the things that actually breaks you. So, yeah, human error. And how can you help human error? Yeah, we usually tend to do human errors when we're stressed, when we're distracted, when we're stuff. Having a good team around it helps with that.
Yes.
So we're back to this crazy thing that building relations is a good thing, both in keeping up with practice and
your technical upgrades as well. Yes, for sure.
And your technical upgrades and stuff. So yeah, have you heard?
Yeah, that's where we are.
Yeah. So let's try a bit more to give our staff the ability to keep mentally in shape as well.
Yes. Because if we don't, so many bad things will happen. And once again, just to get your group and your team to develop further, in order for that to happen, you have to mentally challenge yourself and the team to move forward, become better, find new ways to work. Don't sit and back on your own laurels on how we always have done things. To your point, that's when the security bugs will come and bite you, because if your behavior and the way you act is not properly protective for any type of intrusions or any type of vulnerabilities, guess what? You're gonna get vulnerabilities into your environments. So that is our take on mental change and mental beer guts, as we call it, meaning you have to exercise your mind equal to the exercise of your body to stay in shape and stay on top of your game. If you have any questions, if you do not if you disagree with us, or if you agree with us, make sure that you get your voice noted. You can send us questions at citynetwork.se/podcast, or you can also type in questions directly to the episodes. You will find the links and the documentation to the episodes on the same page. Or if you want to participate in our podcast and actually get your voice heard, you can. You have the chance to do that as well. We want the discussion to be alive. We want people to join in, so feel free to do that. Until then, Kim, let's have a great day.
Hoba.